What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm really excited to give you my full review of my Hinderer XM18. This particular version is the 3.5 inch 20 CV with 4.75 inch G10 handles, coming in at a total length of 8.25 inches and weighing 5.6 ounces. Let's go ahead and test that weight out. Exactly 5.6 ounces. Always glad to see that. This one here does have the blue G10. I love the fact that it's layered, so you get a little bit of different coloring here on that diamond texture. It is titanium on the frame lock side, and I am using it with the ceramic bearings that are in the inside. I did pick up the one with a slight recurve. I really like that from a utility perspective. Helps keep that in the blade path really nicely. This is actually, it feels lighter than the 5.6 ounces that it weighs in at, and I did go ahead and reverse it for a tip-up carry. It does not impact the performance of the knife. It's very smooth on the factory bearings. I don't feel the need to do anything to make any changes. I like the fact that they added the jimping on the back. Really makes it easy to kind of push from the tip instead of having to light switch it, but I'm so used to doing that on my ZT0562. I actually kind of prefer the light switch a little bit. The ergonomics are really good. It feels super comfortable in hand, and I feel locked in right here behind the flipper tab and in that finger choil. So really feels like it's going to be really nice in hand to use for any hard use, heavy duty type task. The choke up is done really nicely. I don't feel the edge of the steel at all in my fingers. So when I go through my push cuts, or if I have to move to do any type of pull cuts, I think I'll be okay. The only thing that I'll say is that it is a little sharp and pokey here if I'm trying to choke up to pull through my cuts. I'll have to come in and make sure that I have my thumbs out on over the studs to kind of help guide me through the cutting. But that's also why I like the recurve, because I'm hoping it'll help push the material and the knife naturally to the middle of the blade when I'm using it. It does have a little bit of swedge here in the middle, right over top of where the contouring is for the recurve. I like that a lot. Really nice tip. I feel like it's going to be able to go out and do draw cuts fine, but you're going to have to get up really high. Now, with the recurve, you can use that extra tip right there to kind of get into the, or cut through the tape when you're trying to get into the boxes. So you may not need to get through the tip on the draw cuts, but if you do need to put any type of leverage, you're going to have to get really up on that. But it's not that unusual for me to be able to do that. It's just changing my angle up a little bit to be able to do that. Really like this knife. I've always wanted to get one. I was happy to finally add it to the collection, and so far I'm happy. I am still a little bit in the honeymoon phase, so stay tuned for the long-term review of this particular knife. But let me go ahead and bring out my comparison knives for you guys so you can get a sense of the size of this one. It is a larger knife, but still the 3.5 inch is a little bit smaller than their 4 inch variant, and I think it's going to surprise you just how well they did on trying to make this very friendly for an EDC carry. First up is going to be my Spartaco Yojimbo 2. The Yojimbo 2 has a 3.125 inch 20 CV blade steel coated, because this is the DLT trading exclusive. It does have 4.5 inch G10 handles with an overall length of 7.5 inches and coming in at 4 ounces. So you can see it's very close in length, but it's a very different footprint between the two. Both of them are going to take up a lot of space in the pocket though. The next is going to be the Spartaco PM2. This one here has a 3.44 inch S45 VN blade with 4.81 inch titanium G10 handles and an overall length of 8.25 inches. The PM2 comes in at 3.75 ounces, and you can see here very similar to the XM18 as far as overall size, but the footprint's going to be a little bit more in its favor because of that flipper tab. I think that flipper tab is still going to come up short when you try to take into comparison how these two actually are going to sit next to one another. So with the flipper tab resting on the thumb, you can probably, let me try to do it this way for you guys so you can try to see. I'm trying to set them evenly, and you can see, I think, just a little bit of that PM2 peeking over, but it could be close enough to call it even, I suppose. Let me go ahead and bring out my crossbar lock knives that I like to use for my comparison. Then we'll do profiles final thoughts and wrap this one up. Next up is going to be my Benchmade bug out. This one here has a 3.24 inch S30V blade steel, 4.22 inch Titanium G10 handles, overall 7.46 inches in length, coming in at a very lightweight 2.3 ounces. The next knife I want to bring out is the Sig K320 made by Hogue. This one here has a 3.5 inch S30V blade, so very similar length, overall length, as the XM18. 4.5 inch polymer handles with an overall length of 8 inches and coming in at 4.16 ounces. To me, I feel like the K320 and the XM18 are kind of, they're pretty comparable. They have very good ergonomics, whereas I think the bug out is more of a friendly EDC knife where you can carry it every day, throw it in the pocket, and not think about it, not know it's there. But I think the presence on these two guys are going to be a little bit more noticeable when you're carrying them every day. Not that you can't, you absolutely can, but if you're trying to throw anything else in the pocket with it, the bug out, I believe, will have the advantage there. Last, I'd like to go ahead and bring out my budget knife comparisons. First is going to be the Kubi KU321. This is going to be a much smaller knife. The 2.99 inch D2 steel blade and 4.29 inch G10 handles come to an overall length of 7.28 inches, weighing in at 3.32 ounces, so feeling very lightweight in pocket. And my Civivi Elementum button lock is the other budget knife. This one here is going to be similar in length, but much slender. It has a 3.47 inch 14C 28N blade steel. The handles are 4.53 inches with micarta scales, overall length 8 inches, and come in at a very lightweight 3.19 ounces. Even though it is very similar in length to the XM18, it's a slender profile. I mean, really, like I said when I was announcing it, it's much slender. It has more of a neutral hand position, but still really outstanding ergonomics. But the lightweight and the skinniness of it is going to make it a little bit less noticeable in pocket. Let's go ahead and run through the profile so you can see the thickness of the XM18 compared to these knives. I am going to switch hands because it's easier to take them off screen and do the comparisons this way. So as you can see here, these are even. I'm going to call them even, I think. Yeah, even. Close enough for me. You guys are welcome to disagree in the comments if you want. The button lock is going to be thinner. No surprise there. Then we'll bring out the really thin and slicey bug out. You can see that's just thinner overall. No need to zoom in there. You can see the K320 is going to feel just a touch thicker at the top end. And then again, this one ramps down or up depending on which direction you're going, so a little bit thinner at the butt. Then we'll bring the Yojimbo 2, which is the same thickness as the Para 3. In the comparison, you can see those two match up evenly. And the Yojimbo 2 and the Para 3 are both thinner. With the G10 contoured scales, these are going to be about, like I thought, just about even. Overall, I really do like this knife. I love the fact that it's made in the USA. I am really a fan of Hinderer, but oddly, I actually started to get my love of Hinderer knives from a different brand, and that's going to be the ZT0562. This one here is a Hinderer design. This also has a 20 CV blade, but titanium scales on both sides. And you can see the XM18, even though these both have 3.5 inch blades, the, oh, that's going to be hard to tell. Let me bring it down and see if you can tell. From the pivot, the XM18, it is a little bit shorter. I know it doesn't look like it here, but when you, maybe it's the hand position. Actually, I didn't realize this little bit sticks out more. Let me try to, yeah, how about that? Yeah, they're actually even in length, but I think this contouring threw me off. When I came into this review, I was certain that I didn't have as much handle sticking out, but I think that's because it's not as much material from the handle sticking out. So wow, I'm glad I brought them out here to look at it. It's just because there's more back here. That contouring down really kind of threw me off. The ZT0562 though is definitely going to have more cutting surface. The length of the blades are supposed to both be 3.5 inches, but you can see the ZT just gives you that much more of the cutting surfaces. So I guess depending on what your preference is for that particular comparison is going to determine which one you like more. You can use this, put the thumb over top of, that's what I usually do, is put the thumb over top of the scales when I'm doing any type of push cuts. Even though you can't see it on this side, what I'm doing is keeping that cardboard on the outside of the knuckle so that I can keep it in the blade path. But with this one, you have the luxury of choking up, and then now my knuckle's here and I'm right in the middle of the recurve. So I guess because I have the recurve, I like the fact that I'm able to choke up on that. I will say the action on the XM18, even though it pops out smoothly, it is just a touch smoother and a little bit better tuned than the ZT. So the XM18, they both feel really nice coming out. But and I'm trying not to shake it a whole lot so you guys can really get an idea. And of course, this is a much older knife. But I do have the taco bearings on here, so that should help. So you can see that even with the light shake, it takes a little bit more than it does with the XM18 with the light shake to get it down. You see how it just wants to fall in. So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. But I wanted to just give my final thoughts really quick for you guys, and then I'll wrap it up. I think this is a great knife. I did have to sell some knives that I really like out of my inventory, and I'm not going to get into all that. But I wanted to have at least one Hinderer. I'm a really big fan of his knife. I love the ZTO562, and I've been trying a really long time to get one of these. And I'm actually kind of torn. Sometimes I like to customize the knife and just do little things like they have the blue plates and stuff but I don't know just yet if I want to do that. I think probably the longer I own it, the more I'll be tempted to kind of do that. But right now, I just kind of want to leave it just like it is. It really is tuned really nicely. The texturing on the G10 is outstanding. It feels like this thing is just ready to work, and I'm really, really anxious to test that theory. And the ergos on it feel really, really good. I love the grind on it. It feels really thin behind the edge, and I really do like the recurve. I'm excited to finally get a recurve in my inventory. I have not gotten one yet, and I've heard others talk about the recurve kind of naturally wants to pull whatever you're cutting through into the middle of the blade. So I want to see if I can observe that. I don't know. This is my first one, so we'll find out. Again, I really like this knife a whole lot. I'm really excited to get it, and you know, I love supporting a smaller manufacturer. I love Hinderer. I think his knives are great. That's my review. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I really appreciate you tuning in. If you could leave a like, it helps me out with the algorithm. And if you could subscribe if you want to follow along, I'd appreciate it and love to have you join along. And don't forget to turn on those notifications for future videos, so when that content drops, you're able to get notices in case there's anything that I review or open that you might like or are interested in. I appreciate all the support, guys. It means a whole lot to me. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you all have a fantastic week. And until next time, peace.